Madam Speaker, Honorable Acting Prime Minister, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Members of Parliament. First, a big bulla to the students in the gallery. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to thank His Excellency the President, Ratu Epelina Elatikau, for his most gracious speech and for his invaluable service to this nation. His Excellency stated the need to develop and maintain a safe and prosperous Fiji, the need to embrace true democratic principles, and to work together regardless of ethnicity, religion, or social-economic status. He also urged us to place our country before our personal or political interests. His Excellency encouraged a debate among members of Parliament with national unity, national interest, and the common good always at the forefront of our minds, and to do so with intellectual honesty. His Excellency asked that all 50 elected members of Parliament in this August Parliament put the honor back into honorable when carrying out our duties. He summed it up by saying, and I quote, "Without honesty and humility on all fronts, we will never progress as a nation, as leaders, and as individuals," unquote. I could not agree anymore. The question we must now ask ourselves is, how have we fared on that scale of honesty and humility in this August Parliament over the past year? How have we fared on that scale through our debates and interjections? It is obvious that each of us in this August Parliament knows that every statement we utter in this House is heard by hundreds of thousands of Fijians in Fiji and all around the world. Do we care about the accuracy of the words that we say, or do we intentionally misrepresent facts for political expediency? Sadly, the latter is true for many of the opposition. Allow me to give a few examples of how in this August Parliament, this very week, the opposition has misled the very people they were elected to serve. Sure. On Monday this week, a member of the opposition, while talking about the Nawailevu landowners, referred to a $600,000 fair share of royalty for the future generation. Where did they get that fact from? I asked the Nawailevu people and other landowners whose lands currently or may potentially be used for mining to please contact me directly for facts relating to issues you might be grappling with. The $600,000 for Nawailevu is not a fair share of royalty promised under Section 30 of the Constitution, as the opposition wrongly stated here on Monday this week. The $600,000 is a fund given by the company to assist with the welfare of Nawailevu's future generation. The Nawailevu people have yet to get their fair share of royalty, as a formula to determine that fair share will be part of the review of the Mining Act, as stated by His Excellency in his speech. Until that happens, until a fair share of royalty formula is set, royalties will be held in trust by government. So to the Nawailevu people, your royalties will be shared once the formula is set. The same opposition member, when comparing PNG landowners to Fijian landowners and their abilities to make investments in Fijian tourism developments, attributed the difference in the respective positions to, and I quote, "because they are selling minerals they own through their investment company," unquote. Minerals in PNG, like in Fiji, are owned by the state. Section 5 of the PNG Mining Act 1992 states this.
Order. 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 I would like to hear the Honourable Speaker's statement. Members of Parliament would like to hear the Honourable Speaker's statement. Members of the gallery and those that are watching TV would like to hear the Honourable Speaker's statement. Please allow her to make her statement without constant, as I had mentioned before, frivolous interventions that is affecting the Honourable Minister to be heard. Please bring back respect to this House. Thank you. Honourable Minister, you may continue.
Landowners in PNG, like Fijian landowners, now under the 2013 constitution, get a share of royalties. The big difference between the levels of benefits received has to do with the relatively minute volume of minerals extracted in Fiji compared to what is extracted in PNG. Royalties, as we know, are based on the volume of minerals extracted. So in essence, the promise of a fair share of royalties to landowners under Section 30 of the Constitution is a new benefit, one which relevant landowners will receive next year for the first time. Madam Speaker, if you are able to lie about these things in this August Parliament, or if we adopt a lackadaisical attitude.
Point of order.
That's not parliamentary. Say lie. Could the minister be asked to withdraw? That's it. I haven't finished yet. I was told by you, Madam Speaker, to retract that very word. So could I ask for consistency, please?
Thank you. Can I hear you out?
I think the standards point out that you cannot call an honourable member a liar. You can say something is a lie, but you cannot say you're a liar or you're a crook or you're a thief. You can't. No, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it's a very different thing. You can say that the other side, for example, is not telling the truth. But you do not actually singly point out and say that Honourable Nico Nawaikula is a liar. You can't do that.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney General. I think what you said about the use of the word lie, you cannot use it to another member of Parliament here, but you can refer it to something that has been said outside of Parliament. There is a big difference, I'm sure you know. But thank you.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Just a clarification. I think what Honourable Nawaikula said was the government was lying, and if I recall correctly, you ruled that out. And this is exactly what the Honourable Minister is saying, that the opposition is lying. I mean, if that is allowed, then that's fine. I mean, we can all say the government is lying, the opposition is lying. And I think yesterday you ruled that Honourable Nawaikula could not say that. Because in the past, we've had a lot of statements from government side, including the Prime Minister, who said the opposition lied before the election, they're lying now, and it was never ruled out. So I think we need to be consistent, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. If I take your words correctly, she was referring to the information that was a lie and not to a member. Please have that clear. Honourable Minister, continue, please.
Madam Speaker, if we are able to lie about these things in this August Parliament, members of Parliament, if members of Parliament are able to lie
Order, please.
about these things in this August House, or if we adopt a lackadaisical attitude about the accuracy of the statements we make, we risk destroying our own credibility with the Fijian people. Where is the honor in that? Another general sweeping statement by the opposition this week generates a lot of questions in my mind. I quote, "A lot of indigenous people are still fearful and resentful of the power of the elites over economic and commercial influences and resources. There is a popular thought that Itauke land is not safe," unquote. The question we need to ask ourselves as members of Parliament is, are we fueling the fires of fear and resentfulness amongst our own people? Have we pointed out the protection under Section 28 of the Constitution to allay these fears of the safety of indigenous land? Have we told those who are fearful of losing their lands that the permanent ownership of all indigenous lands shall remain with indigenous owners for all time? Have we told indigenous landowners that where government compulsorily acquires land for public purpose, it has a constitutional duty to return those lands when they are no longer being used for that purpose if the acquisition was made from the commencement of our Constitution? Have we even bothered to tell our people that a Constitution which provides for this protection is the supreme law of the land, and that no other law can be made to contradict the intention of the Constitution in these regards? I hear a resounding silence, a no from the other side. Why not? Because those members have allowed their own personal opinions and positions on the Constitution to cloud their duty to tell the Fijian people the truth. that the Constitution protects indigenous lands from permanent alienation. This is despite the fact that those very same members swore, and I quote, to obey, observe, uphold, and maintain the Constitution of the Republic of Fiji, unquote. If we do not agree with constitutional provisions, that doesn't mean we can abstain from our duty to tell the Fijian people the protections that it offers. In this case, the protections and recognition guaranteed for the land, cultures, customs, tradition, and languages of the Itauke and Ratuman peoples. The failure to highlight the positive attributes of the Constitution is a telltale sign of prioritizing political gain above our duties as honorable members of Parliament, a telltale sign of the intellectual dishonesty His Excellency warned of in his speech. We also have heard and witnessed intentional exaggeration of facts to mislead the Fijian people and incite them to potentially break the law. Earlier this week, we heard of, and I quote, a discovery of huge sources of minerals in the Western Division, huge deposits of gold, silver, copper, unquote, along with the possibility of 7 or 8 more Vatukola. We also heard about Waiasewa supposedly having a volume of gold similar to that being mined on Lahir Island in PNG. The fact is, the Vatukola gold mine is a top producer for gold in Fiji. It is the biggest gold deposit in Fiji, and there has been no other major gold discovery in Fiji the size of Vatukola to date.
Madam Speaker, point of order.
Point of order.
Point of order 62, Madam Speaker. She is implying that the information I brought to this House is not accurate, Madam Speaker. I did not, and I'm quoting from reputable geologists, and it was only two weeks ago when this information was given to us in a forum made up of responsible people, Madam Speaker. I take issues and I resent the fact that I'm being blamed for bringing wrong information into the House, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have the facts. If need be, I have the facts, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. You can bring that issue another debate, but the clarification was being made by the Honourable Minister based on the information that is available from her ministry, and we appreciate that. Thank you. You may continue.
Madam Minister, as Minister for Mineral Resources, all explorations in Fiji to date, the data for that is with the Mineral Resources Department. I base my statements on this data. Vatukola is the biggest gold deposit in Fiji, and there has been no other major gold discovery in Fiji the size of Vatukola to date. The only other significant gold deposit in the Western Division is the Tuvatu deposit, which is not as large as Vatukola. It is impossible to have another 7 or 8 Vatukola in the West, as determined by the results of current mineral exploration. The Waya prospect on Waiasewa Island is just a mineral prospect at the moment. It is under application for a prospecting license by a company, and the license has not even been granted as yet. It has potential, but all speculation remains unproven at the moment. We have heard a comparison between Waiasewa and Lahir gold deposit in PNG. Waya and Lahir are both small islands, but that's where the comparison ends. Lahir is a proven gold mine, whereas Waya only shows potential. Just to put things further into perspective, Lahir gold mine production averages at about 800,000 ounces per year, compared to Vatukola's average annual production of 84,571.31 ounces per year. And yet, we have heard gross exaggerations as to the scale of the discovery on Waiasewa. Misleading the Fijian people has become a favorite tactic of some on the other side. They give speeches which are designed to play on the vulnerabilities of some sections of the Fijian community. However, these speeches are rarely rooted in facts. Madam Speaker, I now wish to turn to the work of my ministry. In my maiden speech a year ago, I undertook to build on a solid platform that was laid by our Honourable Prime Minister to grow the Ministry for Lands and Mineral Resources. I promised that through this, I would transform our ministry into one of the most efficient, compassionate, and transparent ministries in government. I remain committed to that goal today. Apart from some key internal initiatives carried out by the ministry this year to elevate our level of service delivery, the ministry also commenced some life-changing reforms which stem from the promise which the Fiji First Party made to the Fijian people during its campaign last year. From early this year, the ministry has started issuing 99-year state land leases to farmers seeking a renewal of their agricultural leases for that term. The long-term leases now give these farmers impetus to invest more into their farms and gives them stronger collateral for loans down the road. In recognizing the importance of sugar to our economy, a special initiative is currently underway in the ministry to renew approximately 200 expired sugarcane leases in the Western and Northern Division to assist these farmers in taking advantage of the current amnesty period for payment of interest on lease arrears. This will give them certainty on land tenure ahead of a new sugarcane planting season. The ministry has also opened up the uptake of agricultural leases by those farmers who already own an agricultural lease and who have proven themselves as capable farmers. The past restriction of one agricultural lease per applicant has now been removed, and instead committed farmers can now expand their farming capacities beyond the one lease. Another promise by the Fiji First Party was made to those living in informal settlements on state land, to whom we promised regularization of their occupancy. This entails the issuance of approval notices in the first instance and leases thereafter when such settlements are fully developed to meet subdivision standards. We must understand that the development of such settlements may take years, depending on the availability of funds, but settlers must rest assured that this government is committed to this initiative in its aim to empower all Fijians, no matter their circumstances. The Ministry of Lands was allocated a budget of $800,000 for 2015 to begin this important work for those settlements on state land. For this year, our target was 9 informal settlements with 170 lots to be regularized. So far, several scheme plans have been completed and approved, creating 342 lots with security of tenure to at least 122 families within the next month or so. Most of these families have lived in these settlements for decades and have taken their situations as informal settlers or squatters as the norm. The initiative by government to actively seek out such settlements and regularize them is a life-changing event for these settlers. The regularization of such settlements may take more than 4 years. It might even take more than a decade, but this is a start which the Fiji First government has no intention of stalling. These initiatives and others will continue into 2016, along with our continuing commitment to elevate service delivery to meet customer expectations. One of the key projects which the ministry will be undertaking in the upcoming year will be the updating of Fiji's geodetic data in accordance with international standards. To us lay people, this is the updating and correction of data relevant to coordinates and geographical positions in Fiji to account for the shifting of the Earth's axis every year. This will lend more accuracy to applications such as the Global Positioning Systems, or GPS, when used in Fiji. In his speech, His Excellency the President spoke about government's legislative program for this session of Parliament. The review of the Mining Act is one such law. My ministry is committed to ensure that the mining sector is poised for long-term growth and sustainability in alignment with the Constitution. The Act will need to address the fair share of the royalty formula envisaged by Section 30 of the Constitution. Work on this has already started, with preliminary meetings being held between the Mineral Resources Department, the Itauke Lands Trust Board, and the Ministry of Itauke Affairs to map out a way forward for the formula through public consultations. The review will need to address the crucial element of environmental protection and sustainability in alignment with the Green Growth Framework and Fiji's other national and international obligations on environmental sustainability. It will also need to address the social implications of mining that so far have been dealt with as a collateral issue rather than as a central issue for mining in Fiji. Madam Speaker, as we venture into a new year of service in this August Parliament, I echo His Excellency's statement and request that we raise the tone of the forthcoming session and lead the nation by example, and that we talk about our country and our economy in a responsible manner by debating with civility, humility, and with national unity, national interest, and the common good, always at the forefront of our minds, and to do so with intellectual honesty. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I wish a point of order.
Point of order.
To correct a misrepresentation made by the Honourable Minister, and I do so under Order 81 that allows me to do that. The misrepresentation is that she said this side of the House, or me in particular because I refer to it, misled the public on the group rights of indigenous people to land and to their culture and to their identity by saying that it's not protected. To correct that misrepresentation, Madam Speaker, said, I quoted from the Human Rights Committee on 3rd, which said Fiji is in breach of the group rights of indigenous people in relation to the land, to their culture, by its failure to get our prior... By its failure to get the prior and informed consent. By the government's failure to consult with us and to obtain our prior and informed consent in relation to the 17 decrees, which touches on our land, our culture, and our identity.
Thank you.
That is the correction.
Point of order.
Madam Speaker, my point of order was that that point of order is really premature. He should wait for the Hansard report and see what I said. I never referred to group rights in my speech, and he can confirm that tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you very much.